The guy that was the DJ back in the back, that is Debo's cousin, right? And then over here, I want to thank Vivica Fox. Right over here, I want to thank Tamla Man. Over here, Obama or Steph Curry. You can go either way, whatever way you want to go. And we want to thank Dora the Explorer over here to the left. Thank you for your work. We appreciate you. And we want to thank George Lopez for all your comment. Appreciate it. Young people, have y'all been having a good time? All right, before I get started, young people, before I get started, let me see if you're with me. Let me see if you're with me. So clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you hear me. Clap 3 times if you're ugly. Okay, now we know. Big and small right here. Young people, you know what? I've been sitting in the back. I want to tell you a real quick story. But before I get started, how many of you here have dreams? How many have dreams? Cool. You want to be a doctor, lawyer? Some of you will go to jail, but I can be there for you, you know. We all have dreams, but what I want you to do today is I want you to think big, all right? My oldest son, who's 17, just graduated from high school, he's about to go to college in California. The gas prices were so high in LA, the Crips and the Bloods was riding together, you know what I mean? My youngest son, when my son was 14, he came to me and said, Daddy, I want to play football. I'm like, cool. So I put him with these 14-year-olds, right? My youngest son at the time was about 8. He wasn't into sports, he's into Legos. Everything is awesome. He's that brother. He gets distracted. So I put him on special teams. Special teams in football is 22 guys trying to knock each other's head off. You know what I'm talking about, right? The ones that's laughing, your mama hit you this morning, didn't you? But anyway, across from my son was a 6'4", 200-pound, 14-year-old. Looked like he was on steroids. His lips were so big it looked like 2 pancakes fighting over syrup. They blew the whistle, the guy took off. He hit my son Silas, and all my son Silas said was, Daddy! I could only see out of one eye. I said, I know, but get off the field. He goes, Daddy! Daddy! I could only see out of one eye. I said, Silas, calm down. I squared his shoulder, I got his helmet, I pulled it to the front because he was looking through his ear hole the whole time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge you today to think big. So let me tell you my story, right? I grew up right here in Houston, Texas. My daddy and Osama bin Laden were the 2 best hide-and-go-seek players I've ever known. Because my daddy went in my life, I was always in trouble. I remember my principal saying, you know what, we're going to call your daddy. I said, you found him? Me and my daddy used to play hide-and-go-seek. He said, listen, you count to 10 and then you come look for me. So I count to 10, I went looking for him. It's been 27 years, I still ain't found him. So growing up as a kid, my mother was the type of woman that if I got an 89, she'd cuss me out because I should have got a 90. If I got a 90, she'd cuss me out because I should have got a 91. If I got 100, she wouldn't say nothing because that's what I should have got. We grew up in poverty, we were so broke, if you tried to rob us, you'd be practicing. And I didn't like going to church, because church to me as a kid was whack. So I'd wake up and be like, Mama, I ain't going to church. What time we leave? You ready? I didn't go. And if you're Hispanic, it's the chunk of that. And if you're white, time out building. But anyway, so I was going to church. And I was going to school, and if I can be quite honest, we're talking about suicide and mental health. I was jacked up. I was going to school every day thinking about suicide. I know a lot of you would believe that because you look at me like he's a black smurf and cute, but no. I was a hurt kid, I was struggling. My high school principal, she was a Christian lady, but she didn't go around going, Jesus, Jesus. She lived it. All that talking, she lived it. In the church, we were real good at talking. You get off this church, we're straight goofy. We don't know how to relate, we don't know how to connect. Our butt be so tight, Moses couldn't part it. We wonder why the young kids don't want to come, because we're too goofy. Yep. Jesus is not on the main line. He's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Catch up with that brother. So I'm going to school, I'm angry, I'm hurt. My high school principal used to tell me every day I was awesome. I didn't even know what that meant. Black kids in English home don't go, Leroy, you're awesome. I didn't even know what that meant. She sounded like Chewbacca. But she said it so much, I started to believe it. She said I was amazing. I said, I'm not Spider-Man. She gave me my first birthday party. I went from making all F's to being on the honor roll, to being the first one to graduate from college. She didn't slap me in the head with the Bible. She lived it. My high school coach, he drove me to River Oaks. The houses was as big as your glasses and your head. It was that big. Think about it. Dream, visualize. All I saw was drugs and prostitution and gangs, and he takes me to this big house, and he said, you know what? He said, you can live in a house like that. It changed my whole life. I said to myself, if I listen to these people, my children won't have to grow up like I did. They'll grow up in a better neighborhood. They'll go to better schools. They'll talk different. Father, were you poor, Father? Did you eat the government cheese? Were you constipated? Were you a Negro, Father? It changed my life.
Get him a
Simple
drink.
words changed my life. But see, what's amazing to me is that we go to church every Sunday. We hear the same word, and those same words, we can't even go out in the world and tell our kids how proud of them we are. But we know the Bible. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. So I travel the country. I've been to France, bonjour, oui, oui, pipi, ho, ho. I've been all over the world, and I go to a little town called Harlingen. Everybody heard of that, Harlingen? 3 people, okay, cool. And I go speak at this school. Oh, put the mic. Okay, now go to the mic. I go to Harlingen, Texas, right? For me, I wake up every morning on purpose with a purpose. When I came here today, I walked through the hall and all I did was give all of you celebrity names. I didn't say nothing about Jesus, but it somehow touched you. Kids start coming to me going, I look like Selena Gomez for real, hey. He came up, my biggest smiles, who killed me? That's all I did. I didn't come go, you need the Lord. I don't want to hear that. Live it. I go to this little town called Harlingen, Texas. I wake up early in the morning because I want to change lives, right? I pull up in this spot where the secretary, I didn't know it was a secretary spot, and I immediately go to the school. I didn't know anybody at the school, nobody knew me, but I don't wait for people to come to me, I go to you, right? And you talk about a guy who was shy before I came to know the Lord. So if you give him everything, he'll stretch you and make you do things you're not comfortable in doing, right? So I go to the school, the kids were pulling up, I open the door, it's like 99% Hispanic, so I was like Latino. I was black and Latino. Okay, appreciate it, Shakira. Anyway, so I open up the door and I'm giving these kids celebrity names. Hey, Dora the Explorer, Swiper No Swiping, how's Diego? The kid, hey, Justin Bieber. They come in and laugh. The security guard comes to me and says, hey, you need to go talk to the secretary, and she's a little upset with you. So I walk in, and the lady comes to me, she says, you know what, you're a little over the top, you need to calm down. So I sat on the side, I waited till the bell rang, and I go up to the secretary, and I go, listen, if you're not doing anything, I'm about to speak to the kindergartners through 7th grade. If you're not doing anything, I'd love for you to come hear me speak. She goes, I have time. She wrote a diagram with that black woman. I do the school assembly, and at the end of the assembly, a 7th grade girl, Hispanic girl, came to me. She was real skinny. She could hula hoop through a Cheerio, hang glide with a Dorito. Her clothes was real big. She came to me and she hugged me so tight. I gotta be honest with you, I farted. It was that tight. With tears in her eyes, she gives me a note. And she says, when you read this note, know that you changed the note today. She starts walking away, and I'm like, okay, so see you later like that. So me, the principal, and the secretary, diary man, Latino woman, we're walking through the school. I'm about to go get on my plane. Before she leaves, she said, listen, why don't you come in my office and let's read the note. And this is what the note said. My dad left me 2 years ago. I wear big clothes because I cut myself. My mom goes out every night and gets drunk, and me and the men she brings back have molested me. So tonight, I'm gonna take some pills, I'm gonna end my life, because my life sucks. And I looked at the secretary and I said, that's why I'm over the top. But yet, we make this Christianity thing so hard because we're so goofy. We're so goofy. How you doing? Blessing the Lord. How you doing? How you doing? Why do we feel like we gotta always say that? Like, what are you hiding? Because it should just be natural. It should just be who you are. Not to put on no show. It should just be who you are. Our young people are dying, and they need to know. Some of you moms need to tell them you smoke more weed than Snoop Dogg. And the ones that's laughing, they just smoked. You fathers, you need to tell your children, you was thuggalicious. You was hanging with 21 Savage and Kodak Black. Those are your nephews. But then tell them how God changed your life, because we need to be real. Because the kids are hurting. And I'll tell you this story. I ask you young people, do you have a dream? Right? All of you have a dream. You want to grow, don't you? You know what I mean? Because you're short and you sleep in your mama's purse. I know how you feel. But you have a dream. There was a 19-year-old boy who had a dream. And his dream was to play chess. And ESPN had put on this competition, and the winner would get a round-trip ticket around the whole world. This 19-year-old boy began to doubt. He began to say, how can I beat these men that have been playing chess for 50 and 60 years? They played chess with Abraham Lincoln. They helped Noah in the ark. He goes to the first day of competition and he wins. The second day he wins. The third day he is the national chess champion. His first stop was to London, England. And he walks into the museum, he looks in the back, and there's an oil painting picture of a chessboard. He was so excited, he had more teeth than the dentist. All you saw was his elbows and his butt. Sees this picture, notices to the left, there's this real big muscular guy, like the dude who's the DJ, black man on steroids, just huge. He's reaching over the chessboard, instilling fear into his opponent. On the other side is a little kid with a tear going down his face, like you did. He looks at the big guy, but he noticed something about the game that was on. So he runs outside and gets a taxi. He says, take me where I can get a chessboard. He gets a chessboard, he brings the chessboard back, he puts the chessboard right in front of the chessboard that's on the wall painting, and he started making moves on his board according to what he saw to the chessboard wall painting. He looked at the muscle guy, he looked at the kid. He looked at the muscle guy, he looked at the kid. And he started making moves on his board according to what he saw to the chessboard wall painting. And he stopped. He looked at the kid in the picture, he said, don't quit, you got one more move. Don't quit, you got one more move. Because I can tell you this, if I would have given up,